Jessica stood in front of the mirror in the small bathroom of her house, the soft yellow light from the ceiling lamp shining down, creating strange shadows on her face. She combed her hair, each long strand gliding through her fingers, but her mind was elsewhere. Her wedding day was just a few days away, and everything seemed to be falling apart around her. She looked into the mirror, her sparkling green eyes full of anxiety, wondering, do I have the courage to do this? Outside, the noisy traffic of Chicago echoed, but in this small space, there was only Jessica's sighs and her heartbeat, racing like a tense piece of music. She couldn't stop thinking about Emily, her younger sister, who was always favored by everyone, and now she wanted to be the center of attention on Jessica's wedding day. Jessica, are you sure you don't want to go first? Emily had innocently asked. But that question pierced Jessica's heart like a dagger. She, who has always lived in the shadow of her sister, now had to face a painful truth. Could she shine on her big day, or would she continue to be overshadowed? Everyone had come to help Jessica prepare for her wedding day, but no one knew that a battle was raging inside her heart. She recalled the memories of childhood, when both sisters played together, but now, everything had changed. Emily was always the golden girl, while Jessica was just a faint shadow. She couldn't let this continue. As Jessica turned back to the pure white wedding dress hanging on the wall, a thrill filled her heart. It was not just a dress, it was a symbol of hope, of dreams, and of fears. She had dreamed of this day since she was little, but now, everything had become more complicated than ever. A knock on the door broke Jessica's train of thought. Jessica, are you ready? Her mother's voice rang out, full of expectation. Jessica took a deep breath, trying to regain her composure. She couldn't let her mother see the uncertainty within her. I'll be out soon, she replied, but inside she felt as if she were standing on the edge of a high cliff. One more step could send her plummeting into the abyss. Stepping out of the bathroom, Jessica felt as if she were entering into a battle. Friends and family were all waiting for her, but no one knew she was facing a bigger secret than the wedding day itself. A secret that, if discovered, could change everything. She hadn't told anyone that Michael, her fiancé, proposed to her not just out of love but for another reason. A reason that she feared would hurt everyone, especially Emily. Jessica could feel the stares of everyone on her, but in her mind, there was only one question: will I be able to be true to myself on the most important day of my life? Stepping out of the room, Jessica felt the excitement in the air. The Thompson family's small house was filled with laughter and music, but inside, her heart felt empty. She decided that at least for today, she wouldn't let anyone, including Emily, overshadow her light. She was ready for a fight not only with her sister but also with herself. When Jessica entered the living room, all eyes were on her. She felt as if she were standing on a grand stage, where all the lights were shining on her. The thrill and anxiety flooded her heart. But she knew that it was time for her to show herself. Jessica, you look so beautiful, a friend called out, and the compliment acted like a temporary sedative. But Jessica knew that what mattered most was finding a way to hold her ground on her wedding day, not just for herself but for those around her. Everything seemed to be moving too quickly, and Jessica felt like she was standing in the midst of a storm. She told herself, be strong, Jessica. This is your day. But deep down, she couldn't shake the worry that Emily would once again steal her moment. When the music began to play, Jessica knew the time had come. She stood before the mirror one last time, telling herself that no matter what happened, she wouldn't let anyone dim her light. The wedding was not just an event, it was a journey, and Jessica was determined not to let anyone stand in her way. Prepare for the unexpected, she whispered to herself, and in her heart, a flame of determination ignited. Today was not only her wedding day, it was also the day Jessica found herself. My sister is getting married before me, Monica. The next chapter of the story. Jessica felt like she was on the brink of a revolution. As she entered the living room, Where everyone was preparing for the wedding, the atmosphere was filled with laughter and blessings. But inside her, a storm was quietly brewing. No one knew that she was carrying a great secret, a secret that could change everything. "Jessica, are you ready?" Chloe, her best friend, asked with a bright smile. She was helping Jessica adjust her wedding dress, but Jessica felt like every gaze was scrutinizing her every move. I'm ready," Jessica replied, but her voice was uncertain. She felt like she was living in a play, where everyone was playing their role, and she was the only one who didn't know the script. "What is there to worry about? It's your day," Chloe encouraged. But Jessica knew that wasn't entirely true. The wedding day was not just an event, it was a battle between her and Emily, between the expectations of her family and her own desires. Looking out the window, Jessica saw Emily standing with a group of friends, chatting happily. She had always been the center of attention, and Jessica couldn't help but feel jealous. Why does everything have to be like this, she wondered. Why is she always loved more? Jessica's mother, Mrs. Thompson, entered the room with a bright smile. "Jessica, you look wonderful. I can't wait to see you in this dress," she said, her eyes filled with pride. But Jessica felt like a shadow, as her mother's attention was always directed towards Emily. "Thank you, Mom," Jessica replied, but inside she felt heavy. She wanted to tell her mother about her secret, but was afraid that it would hurt her. "Mom won't understand," she thought. When Jessica turned back to Chloe, she felt a wave of anxiety wash over her. "Chloe, there's something I need to tell you," she began, but then hesitated. I'm not sure I can do this." "What is it, Jess? Are you worried about Emily?" Chloe asked, her eyes full of concern. "It's not just that," Jessica sighed. "I feel like I can't be myself on this wedding day. Everyone expects me to be perfect, but I don't even know what I really want." Chloe looked at Jessica with sympathy. "You don't have to be perfect, Jess. You just need to be yourself. If something is bothering you, say it. Don't let it eat away at you." Jessica nodded, but still felt the weight of anxiety pressing down. She decided she wouldn't let Emily overshadow her moment. But how would she accomplish that? As the party began, everyone gathered in the living room, and the atmosphere became more lively. Jessica tried to blend in, but her gaze couldn't leave Emily, who was standing in the crowd, attracting all the attention. "Jessica, can you help me a little?" Emily called, her eyes sparkling. "I need to find a necklace to complete my outfit. Have you seen one?" Jessica felt like a dagger pierced her heart. "I don't know," she replied, trying to keep her voice calm. Inside, she felt anger and helplessness rising. Why does she always need my help? "Thank you, Jessica," Emily said sweetly, but Jessica couldn't help but feel that it was just a way for Emily to continue drawing attention. She turned away, feeling like she was stuck in a game with no way out. As the party progressed, Jessica decided she had to face the truth. She couldn't continue living in her sister's shadow. She needed to uncover the secret she had kept for so long. "Chloe, I need to talk privately," Jessica said, pulling her friend to a quiet corner. "What's wrong?" Chloe asked, worried. I've received an offer from a company in New York. They want me to work for them after the wedding," Jessica revealed, her voice full of excitement. "That's a wonderful opportunity. Why are you worried?" Chloe asked, but Jessica felt a flood of fear. "I'm afraid that if I go, everyone will think I'm abandoning the family. Mom won't understand. Emily will say that I don't care about them," Jessica said, tears beginning to fall. "Jessica, this is your life. You can't let others decide for you. If you want to go, then go. Don't let anyone deter your dreams," Chloe encouraged. Jessica nodded, but still had many concerns in her heart. She knew this decision wouldn't just affect her but also her family. She didn't want to become the bad person in her mother and sister's eyes. As the party neared its end, Jessica decided she had to share her secret. She couldn't keep it any longer. "Everyone. There's something I need to share," she said, her gaze directed at everyone, including Emily. "What is it, Jess?" Emily asked, her curiosity piqued. I've received a job offer in New York." "I'm leaving after the wedding," Jessica said, her voice trembling. The whole room went silent for a moment. Her mother looked at her with a bewildered expression, while Emily seemed unable to believe her ears. "Jessica, you can't do this. Your wedding day is approaching. Why would you want to leave?" Emily said, anger evident on her face. "I'm not leaving. I just want to pursue my dreams," Jessica replied, trying to remain calm. "But have you thought about Mom's feelings? Or do you only think about yourself?" Emily retorted, her tone full of criticism. Jessica felt like she was being attacked. "I'm not a bad person just because I want to live for myself," she said, tears beginning to fall. "I've lived in your shadow for too long. I can't continue like this." Her mother stepped forward, her eyes filled with worry. "Jessica, I just want what's best for you. You can choose not to go, and everything will be fine," she said, her tone gentle but heavy with meaning. "Mom, I can't live like this. I want to be free, to pursue what I love," Jessica exclaimed, emotions surging. The room fell silent again, and Jessica felt like she was standing in the midst of an unavoidable battle. She knew she had to fight for herself. But did she have enough strength to overcome the opposition from those she loved the most? She looked into her mother's eyes, into Emily's gaze, and inside, she felt a strong determination. "I will not let anyone stand in the way of my dreams anymore." Today, Jessica not only wanted to be a bride, she wanted to be herself. Jessica felt like she was standing on the brink of an irreversible decision. The atmosphere in the living room was suffocating, the lights glaring as if to illuminate every dark corner of her soul. Everyone around was still whispering, their eyes filled with worry and confusion. She knew that she had sparked a war not only with Emily but also with herself. "I can't believe you want to leave on your wedding day," Emily shouted, her voice filled with anger. "Why are you being so selfish? Everyone is looking forward to this." "I am not selfish. I just want to live for myself," Jessica replied, her feelings of anger and helplessness surging. She couldn't understand why people couldn't grasp her desires. "Mom, I just want to be free." Jessica turned to her mother, her eyes filled with tears. "I can't live in Emily's shadow forever. I have to go, Mom." Her mother, Mrs. Thompson, stood silently, her eyes welling with tears. "Jessica, I just want to protect you. I don't want you to face difficulties in New York. You can find happiness here, with family," she said, her voice trembling. "Mom, I can't live just to please everyone. I need to find myself," Jessica cried, feeling as if she was standing in the middle of a storm. The crowd around began to murmur, their expressions filled with suspicion. Jessica felt like she was being judged, like a criminal before a jury that would never forgive. She took a deep breath, trying to regain her composure. "If you all love me, please support my decision," she said, her voice stronger than before. Emily shook her head vigorously. "You can't do that, Jessica. You can't leave us. It will only hurt everyone," she said, her tone filled with disappointment. "But I can't live in fear forever," Jessica yelled, feeling like everything was collapsing around her. "I can't keep living under the pressure of expectations. I need to be free." The room suddenly fell silent. Jessica could feel everyone's eyes focused on her, as if they were waiting for a final decision. She felt like she was standing on a cliff, just one more step away from falling into the abyss. But deep down, she knew it was time for her to stand up. "I will go, and I will not look back," Jessica said, her voice resolute. This is my life, and I need to live it my way. She turned away but then heard her mother call out. Jessica, think it over. I don't want to lose you. Those words pierced her heart like a dagger. She turned back, looking into her mother's eyes, feeling the pain wash over her. You're not losing me. You just don't understand me, Jessica said, tears beginning to fall. I can't live in the fear and expectations of everyone. I need to find my true self. Emily stepped forward, her eyes brimming with tears. Jessica, you don't understand. If you go, I will have no one beside me. I have always needed you. You are the only one who makes me feel complete, she said. Her voice choked with emotion. Jessica felt a huge wave crashing over her. You don't need me to be complete. You need to find yourself, she replied, but deep inside, she felt weighed down. She couldn't let Emily depend on her forever. I will not let anyone make me feel guilty for my decision anymore, Jessica vowed to herself. She knew this was the time for her to be strong. But anxiety kept gnawing at her mind. As the party continued, Jessica felt like she was standing amidst an inevitable battle. She decided she had to discover the truth about her secret. And that it wouldn't just affect her but the whole family. Chloe, I need to talk to you, Jessica said, pulling her friend aside to a quiet corner. I feel like I'm trapped in a game with no escape. What's going on? Chloe asked, worried. I've received a job offer from a company in New York. They want me to work for them after the wedding, Jessica revealed. Her voice filled with excitement and anxiety. That's a fantastic opportunity. Why are you worried? Chloe asked, but Jessica felt a wave of fear wash over her. I'm afraid that if I go, everyone will think I'm abandoning my family. Mom won't understand. Emily will say that I don't care about them, Jessica said, tears starting to fall. Jessica, this is your life. You can't let others decide for you. If you want to go, go. Don't let anyone stop your dreams, Chloe encouraged. Jessica nodded but still felt unsure inside. She knew this decision would not only affect her but also her family. She didn't want to be seen as the bad person in her mother and sister's eyes. As the party neared its end, Jessica decided she had to reveal her secret. She couldn't keep it any longer. Everyone, there's something I need to share, she said, looking at everybody, including Emily. What is it, Jess? Emily asked, curious. I have received a job offer in New York. I will be leaving here after the wedding, Jessica said, her voice trembling. The room fell silent for a moment. Her mother looked at her with a bewildered expression, while Emily seemed unable to believe her ears. Jessica, you can't do that. Your wedding day is coming up. Why would you want to leave? Emily said, anger evident on her face. I'm not leaving. I just want to pursue my dream, Jessica replied, trying to keep calm. But don't you think about Mom's feelings? Or are you only thinking of yourself? Emily countered, her tone filled with reproach. Jessica felt under attack. I'm not a bad person just because I want to live for myself, she said. Tears beginning to fall. I've lived under your shadow for too long. I can't continue like this. Her mother stepped forward, looking worried. Jessica, I only want what's best for you. You can choose not to go, and everything will be fine, she said, her tone gentle but heavy with meaning. Mom, I can't live like this. I want to be free, to pursue what I love, Jessica exclaimed. Emotions rising. The room fell silent again, and Jessica felt like she was standing amid an inevitable battle. She knew she had to fight for herself. But did she have the strength to overcome the objections of those she loved most? She looked into her mother's eyes, into Emily's gaze, and inside, she felt a strong determination. I will not let anyone obstruct my dreams again. Today, Jessica does not just want to be a bride, she wants to be herself. Jessica stood in the middle of the room, where every laugh, every glance was directed at her. She felt like she was in the eye of a storm, and everything around her was spinning. She had made a decision, but now it was time to face the consequences of it. "Jessica, think of what you're doing," Emily exclaimed, her voice echoing in the quiet space. "Why are you being so selfish? Everyone is looking forward to this." "I'm not selfish. I just want to live for myself," Jessica retorted, feeling anger and helplessness swell up inside her. She couldn't understand why others couldn't comprehend her desires. "Mom, I just want to be free." Jessica turned to look at her mother, her eyes filled with tears. "I can't live in Emily's shadow forever. I must go, Mom." Jessica stood in the middle of the large room, where the shimmering lights reflected on every face. She felt as if she had just gone through a storm, and now, everything around her had calmed down. People were still looking at her, but there were no more critical or angry gazes. Instead, there was concern, understanding, and even love. Jessica, her mother, Mrs. Thompson, spoke up, her voice gentle yet heavy with meaning. "I don't know what to do if you leave. But I don't want you to live in fear." Jessica felt her heart tighten. She had once thought that deciding to leave would hurt others. But now she realized that the courage to pursue her dreams was what mattered most. "Mom, I don't want to hurt you. I just want to live true to myself," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "I understand," Mrs. Thompson responded, her eyes shining with understanding. "I've lived my whole life to please others, and now I realize that it doesn't bring true happiness. If you feel that leaving is the right thing, I will support you." Those words were like a soothing balm for Jessica. She felt a new strength rising within her. "Thank you, Mom," she said, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I will never forget what you've taught me. Love and forgiveness are the most important things in life." Emily stood beside her, her gaze still a bit sorrowful. "I'm sorry, Jessica. I didn't understand you. I was just afraid of losing you," she said, her voice sincere. Jessica turned to look at her sister, and a strong emotion welled up inside her. "You don't need to apologize. I didn't understand you either. We all have our own fears, and that's natural. But I can't live for those fears anymore," she replied, holding Emily's hand. "I will always be here, no matter where I am," Jessica said, her voice resolute. "We can still love each other, no matter how far apart we are." The room seemed warmer, and those around began to breathe a sigh of relief. She felt the love spreading through the space, like a warm light dispelling all worries. "I will not give up on my dream," Jessica asserted, her eyes shining. "I will go to New York, but I will come back. I will bring back beautiful memories and love from my family." Chloe, Jessica's best friend, stepped forward and hugged her. "I will always support you, Jess. Pursue your dreams and live fully," she said, her voice encouraging. Jessica felt like she was standing on top of a high mountain, where the view opened wide before her. She had gone through a long journey, and now she felt much more mature. The hardships and conflicts had helped her realize her own worth and the power of love. As the party came to an end, Jessica looked out the window, where the sunset was gently descending. She knew that life would go on, with new challenges and opportunities ahead. But the most important thing was that she had found herself in this journey. "I will never forget what I've been through," Jessica thought to herself. "I will carry these valuable lessons with me and live fully for my dreams." She turned back, looking at everyone around, and realized that love was not just an emotion, it was also a journey. She would not only live for herself, but also for those she loved. "Thank you all for being here, for supporting and loving me," Jessica said, her voice full of emotion. "I will always remember that no matter where I am, family and love will always be the most precious things." When Jessica stepped out of the room, she felt like she was stepping into a new journey. A new chapter in her life. She didn't know what the future would hold, but she knew she would never be alone. Love and forgiveness would always accompany her, helping her overcome every challenge ahead. And so, Jessica found her own path, a path filled with light and hope, where she could live true to herself and pursue the dreams she had always longed for. Life was not just a battle, it was a journey of discovery, where love and growth would guide her in every step. She smiled, feeling the power of love in her heart. I will never give up, Jessica thought to herself, walking with faith and hope,